let us head over to the X Division, which mostly featured a single program all the way through the month, which is rare of TNA.
And a program with, like, consistency.
These guys are actually on the show all the time.
Yeah. And, like, it's not being bogged down with a lot of other stuff.
So we have a lot of Michael Shane and Frankie Kazarian matches. Michael Shane and Frankie Kazarian beat Amazing Red and Chris Sabin on the first Impact of the month. Nice little match. Dusty's the judge. Sabin lands a pump kick, followed by a Shane super kick on Sabin for the win. Shane and Kazarian also beat Shark Roy and D-Ray on the first pay-per-view of the month, July 7th. Shane pins D-Ray with a super kick. Following Impact, which was main evented by P.D. Williams versus AJ Styles versus Chris Sabin in a really nice little three-way match.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. I mean, it's an easy formula, X Division TV, multi-man.
Which they do a lot of, but at least there's 3 good wrestlers, and these 3 wrestlers will eventually have the best Ultimate X match ever. So there you go.
I wonder how many three-way X Division matches have been on TNA TV in its history.
A lot. You don't get as many lately. There was a few leading to Bound for Glory last year. There's a bunch of 3-ways to build to a 3-way. So there's not as much as there used to be.
There was like one this year at least.
There was one on Rebellion. There was the Ace and Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel match, which is really great. That match rocked.
Yeah.
Also on that episode of Impact, we had another Frankie Kazarian and Michael Shane victory over Shark Boy and D-Ray in a rematch. Shane sent Tracy in the way of a Shark Boy crossbody, and then Frankie hit the flux capacitor on D-Ray for the win.
How are you feeling about the Frankie Michael Shane stuff?
I think it's the first time they've given like a meaningful promo time to an X Division feud in a way that's worked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Shane and Kazarian ever really clicked as characters individually until now. Like Shane was doing the fun stuff with the Shawn Michaels cousin, which was you could laugh at it, but he didn't feel like his own standout character. Whereas now it feels like they're actually fleshing these two out as individual people.
They also, to me, it's quite an iconic TNA combination as well. So, like, seeing them together is like a little full circle thing, because I have fond memories of these two together.
Oh, we missed a segment, by the way. The week before Mike Tenay's in the ring, he calls out Shane and Kazarian. Tracy demands Tenay acknowledge her, so I think she's the tribal chief.
I would agree.
Because he was only like, oh, come on out, Shane and Kazarian. Never said Tracy. She's like, acknowledge me, Mike.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
She says everybody hates AJ. There's a petition to kick AJ out of the X Division. Tenay would like to see the X Division. He says, name one, and then Frankie says me, and Tenay's kind of like, fine.
Yeah, I like these two as like just big dumb idiots.
Kaz states that the TNA bylaws say that when somebody leaves the X Division, they cannot return. And Tenay's like, that's not the rule. They argue about who put the X Division on the map. Jerry Lynn comes out. He felt how they felt. He hated AJ. He thought AJ was an empty-headed idiot who wouldn't take his advice. God, that was the actual story. Jerry knows for a fact AJ has earned everything he's gotten. Jerry points out that he's beaten both of them and Frankie lost the X title to AJ. Jerry says that Shane and Kazarian are afraid of AJ because they can't beat him. They attack Jerry. AJ makes the save. AJ then says, I'll face you next week.
And it will go fine.
It will go fine. So AJ interrupts the announcers when they're doing their card rundown, the classic thing. He says he'll wrestle either one of them, doesn't care, next week, and then he'll wrestle the other one the week after. Shane interrupts. He's like, I will one-up you. How about you wrestle both of us in the same night? And if either of us beat you, we get a title shot. But if one of us can't beat you, we'll leave the X Division.
And it all goes perfect.
It does. So that then leads us to NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 103, July 14th, in which the show opens with Michael Shane versus AJ Styles.
And it all goes perfect.
Yeah, they work a nice little match. AJ's running wild. Shane goes out to the floor. AJ does his classic flip dive to the floor, but he hits his legs off the guardrail, and he sells them, and referees and officials come out, and Jerry Lynn comes out. Russo also comes out. They stop the match. Michael Shane is declared winner. I thought they did a really great job with this finish. Like, AJ, like, he did the dive, and he just smashed his legs off the rail. It's not like he, like, did smoke and mirrors. He just did the thing, and then sold the thing really well.
Yeah, I thought it was real for a second.
You thought it was a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
So Michael Shane, by virtue of defeating AJ, has earned himself an X Division title shot.
And, AJ is going in hurt to the Frankie match.
Yeah, so there was a commotion about whether or not AJ would actually do the match. Jerry Lynn comes out. He says, I'm subbing for AJ. In a thing I absolutely loved, Kaz was like, no,
Yeah, that's not what I agreed to.
Yeah, he's just like, this is bullshit. If AJ can't compete, I should be awarded a win. AJ comes out, he fights on. Shane and Tracy come out as well. Tracy distracted the ref. Shane hit a super kick, but AJ kicked out. Styles hit Tracy with the Styles Clash. Styles had Kaz in a roll-up, but the ref was checking on Tracy. Styles was then going for the Clash, but Shane clipped his knee, and then Kaz picked up the win. So both Kaz and Shane have pinned AJ, both of them earning X Division title shots.
Yeah, I didn't think either of these matches were super blowaway, but I did enjoy the show long story.
Yeah, and again, it's just nice to have stories in the X Division, which is it's always the big knock against the X Division, that it's oh, it's great wrestling, but there's no stories. And frankly, it's a little bit the opposite this month, where it's this isn't a great story, but Shane and Kazarian are good nerds. Styles is the perfect babyface. Jerry Lynn is out here being called Geriatric Lynn by Frankie Kazarian, which is top-notch wordplay, frankly.
Frankly. And
you have stuff like Styles, he's working this match with an injured knee, and he goes for the springboard moonsault DDT, and his leg gives out, and it's just good wrestling. AJ's good at this stuff.
I'm really looking forward to AJ and Alex Shelley.
I think it only happens once.
Wow!
Maybe twice, but they're only quick TV
matches. It's when we did the rundown of how many times AJ and Jeff wrestled, and it was very little. They never had a top pay-per-view match.
Yeah, you'll be shocked. Shelley and Joe only have one match, and again, it's only a 10-minute Impact match.
10-minute UFC/TNA show.
Oh, those have been the house shows, yeah. Which we might have.
And an 8-minute Impact match.
Which we definitely have.
And a 6-minute Impact match, and that's it.
What's the date of the house show match?
30th of September 2006.
We probably have that match, so we'll probably cover that on the Patreon during 06.
Which is the longest match they've had ever.
Which is probably 10 minutes, is it?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
They had a dark match on an Impact coming up.
Actually, I think that might air.
Aha!
I think that's on the episode that we were talking about, that Hurricane episode. I think they pulled that out of the vault for that episode.
When was that? Do you have a guesstimate of when that was?
I think it was September.
Was it the Best Damn Wrestling event period?
No, that's a different show altogether.
They do have one 3 at TNA Impact 16.
That seems about right, but we'll find out.
Which is 7 minutes. But it's probably good, so that explains why it was only 7 minutes probably as well. If it was a dark.
So Impact number 7, July 16th, we have America's Most Wanted versus Kazarian, goes to a time limit draw. The clock froze for a minute on 58 seconds. It wasn't about a minute, it was about 20 seconds. But on 58 seconds, it just stopped, and I thought, oh, they fucked up the last second finish. But it's no, it just still went to a draw. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's these things happen though, because these are taped, so I really don't get it.
Well, they're turned around pretty quick. They're taped on Thursday, they are on Friday, so it's not like they have a ton of time to go over them with a fine-tooth comb.
Or any.
Or any, yes. They're probably produced live to tape, to be fair. So they're just yeah, ship it off. And this is the era, by the way. There's no such thing as you record the digital file, you send the file. You're sending tapes to be aired. You're getting the tapes in Orlando to send to be aired. You're not deliberate. There's no digital delivery back in these days.
No.
So that brings us to NWA-TNA Pay-Per-View number 104. It was meant to be Jerry Lynn teaming with AJ, the X Division Dream Team, the first tag champs, back together again. But AJ was injured, couldn't compete because of the knee injury he suffered against Michael Shane the week before. So Chris Sabin stepped in. Styles came down to ringside, distracting Kaz, allowing Jerry Lynn to grab a quick pin. Kazarian then attacked before Styles cleared house, made the save with a crutch. Then Styles said Shane and Kazarian both earned title shots, and they wanted to know when they were going to get their title shot. Well, how about at the exact same time next week in a 3-way Ultimate X match?
Are you going to be okay, AJ?
Yeah, he's my knee hurts, so I'll fight you both at once in the most dangerous stipulation in the company.
But first I'll wrestle Jarrell Clark.
Yeah, you got to work out the knee on Impact against Jarrell Clark. You're fine.
But, it's just, that's one of those blind dumb babyface things, right?
And it's the fun little one-upsmanship because they're we'll get our title shot. We don't care what order we get them in, but we'll win the belt. And even if one of us wins the belt first, we'll then defend the belt against the other because we're best pals on the same page. And then AJ kind of throws a spanner in the works, being what if you're both in the match and it's Ultimate X? And then you have the hook of obviously this is the 4th Ultimate X match, but AJ's first, so it's Styles and Ultimate X for the first time is the big hook.
Yeah. I have some bad news about the Ultimate X, but we'll get to it.
As you said, AJ beat Jarrell Clark on Impact. Styles Clash, Kazarian watched on from the ramp. Nice little TV squash.
Is there one really good Jarrell Clark match in TNA?
No.
I thought there was.
They're all pretty much this, where it's like a nice little 2.5-star match.
Maybe there's some other Jarrell Clark thing, but Jarrell Clark is always one of those names, you know?
Because he does the 630 and he's cool.
That is cool to do. I know whenever I do the 630, people are like, wow, Liam was
Yeah, they're
great.
popping off. They're like, wow, you're the best.
Ever.
I finished this double underhook into the Styles Clash. Like, cool.
Yeah. I like Styles Clash variants.
And then breaking out a random one on a squash match at Impact because he's just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then main event of NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 105, July 28th, was the Ultimate X match in which Michael Shane and Frankie Kazarian defeated AJ Styles, simultaneously pulling down the belt to become co-X Division champion in Ultimate X.
So you know what I don't like about this?
Go on.
In every other, disputed title finish, we have Vince Russo umming and ahhing for 15 minutes.
He's fine with this one.
Yeah, and in this one, Borash just makes the
Well,
call.
the referee makes the call. Boris announces it.
But, there's no debate. It happens immediately.
Well, you see, Vince Russo has long established, even though he broke this rule last month, that he will never overturn a referee's decision. So the referees have now understood that they have to make their decision before Vince Russo can come out and make sad faces.
That is stupid. Also, I think I'm sick of Ultimate X.
Yeah, this one is fine. It was pretty good, I think.
I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me.
Like, there was a Styles Clash off the cables. It was kind of sloppy, but it was pretty cool.
That was the best part.
There was a part where AJ went to do the springboard onto the cables, and he fell flat in his face. And I was like, are you selling, or was that a botch? Because he immediately sprung up to knock Frankie off the cables, but also he's, doing the knee injury thing. So he's worked me into a shoot. I don't know whether he was selling or it was a botch.
Also, that would kill me. I would die.
If you just tried to springboard, jump, fall.
Yeah, I'd be dead. I had some. Oh yeah, I also loved the way that AJ bounced on the top of the cables to get to the middle. That's stupid and dangerous, but it's cool.
I like the general idea of this match, where it was basically a 2-on-1 handicap Ultimate X match.
Yeah.
Where these guys were constantly trying to take down Styles, and Styles was constantly fighting back.
I also like that they didn't really do much Kaz and Shane getting in with each
They
other.
didn't do any, I don't think, really.
They had a shoving match, and then AJ broke it up.
So, finished, Styles was climbing the cables, looking like he was going to win before Kid Cash, who had an interview the week before at NWA-TNA, which I thought was a real big mistake. It's
Yeah.
it's surely Cash coming out here to cost AJ the Ultimate X match, having not seen Cash for the best part of a month, is way more impactful than him doing a sit-down interview with TNA the week before. It's what are you doing? Just have him be a surprise here. Everyone thought he was gone, and he's back.
I don't know.
Though that interview with TNA did have the line, "We're two freaking ninja juggalos," which you quite enjoyed.
That's going in the
It's
intro.
going in the intro. They are two freaking ninja juggalos.
Now we are the two freaking ninja juggalos.
So that TNA interview was all the same stuff, like AJ special treatment, Cash better than AJ, AJ sucks, AJ and AMW are bad at promos, which is true of AJ and not of AMW. AMW's promos are good. AJ's they're terrible. He's really bad. But
They jump around a little bit, but for the most part, they're good.
yeah, so Cash smashed AJ with a crotch, showing that his foot was not in fact hurt anymore. Then Shane and Kazarian climbed the cables from opposite sides, met in the middle, unhooked the belt, dropped to the mat simultaneously, both holding the belts, and the referee declared them co-X Division champion. So Shane and Kazarian, your co-champs, and then Styles and Cash is your feud coming out of that as a non-title thing going forward.
I'm into the co-champions though, because again, I have quite fun memories of it. How do you feel about the two champion shtick that wrestling goes to sometimes?
It's one of those things where the company does it, but never has an idea how to undo it.
It feels like, has there ever been a scenario where they've done the two champs who are willing, and then they unify them together?
What do you mean unify them?
They're co-champions, but then they do a match to make it one.
I don't know. Did Laycool ever do that?
No.
Because there's not a lot of co-champs.
Yeah. I guess Jericho China?
I don't know. We then wrap up our X Division stuff for the month with a Kid Cash squash over Mikey Bats on the last Impact of the month.
That was fun. I really like Kid Cash's jacket.
Oh, his big coat?
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Proper coat, not just wrestling coat.
I've always wanted a big coat like that.
Like Joe Doring.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your standard squash, but Cash fucking killed Mikey Bats with the Moneymaker. He killed him.
Yeah, I love Kid Cash, man.
That moneymaker was such like that's the classic. Oh, that's an extra quarter star on this match, pal. Well done.
He slaughtered him.
Weirdly, Mikey Bats came out to an instrumental version of Iron Man.
That's how I would describe Mikey Bats.
Vote for me.
I like how you did a legally distinct version while doing it.
Also veering toward the Family Guy bit. I think that's a Family Guy bit. Is it Simpsons?
I don't know. I guess you're just the classic Family Guy fan.
It's true. Seems today that all you see is violence and movies and sex on TV.
If one thing I know about Garrett, he always goes, top 3 favorite shows. Number 1, Family Guy. Number 2, Parks and Rec. Number 3, Frasier.